The image you're looking at represents the appearance of Homo erectus in history. Known as the upright man, this species thrived for a vast period, from around 2 million to nearly 1 million years ago, living across Africa, Asia, and Europe. They are regarded as one of the most successful human species in history, leaving behind significant achievements that marked a pivotal point in the evolutionary journey. Yet, after over 1 million years of existence, Homo erectus mysteriously vanished. Why did this happen? What led to the extinction of such an intelligent and relatively advanced species? Keep in mind, modern humans have only been on Earth for about 200,000 years, whereas Homo erectus managed to survive for over 1 million years without facing any major competitive threats. Today, we will take a journey back in time to around 2 million years ago to trace the first steps of the upright human, following their rise and eventual disappearance, making way for their successors. Welcome to the video on Homo erectus. Why did the most successful early humans go extinct? Before we dive into the main topic, we'd like to emphasize that this video covers a controversial subject regarding the origins of human beings. Our video is based on the theory of evolution. While you may not believe in this theory, there are surely others who want to explore the scientific and archaeological knowledge related to it. We also have many videos on the channel that refute the theory of evolution. Therefore, please approach today's video with an open mind for learning and discussion, or even self-reflection, to strengthen your own beliefs. Any negative comments aimed at personal attacks or insulting others will be rejected out of respect for everyone. We hope that we can all listen to and carefully select knowledge that resonates with us and is suitable for our personal growth. 2 million years ago, the vast deserts and majestic canyons witnessed a mysterious historical event: the emergence of the first ancestors who closely resembled us today. They were Homo erectus, the upright man. It's hard to believe that millions of years ago, Homo erectus achieved incredible evolutionary milestones that advanced humanity to a new level of civilization. They knew how to create fire, organize hunting expeditions, and craft tools to assist with daily tasks. Even more remarkably, Homo erectus paved the way for humans to settle across all continents and create the first human societies. It's truly astonishing. The qualities that have made us superior today did not begin with our own species, but with a now extinct species that thrived millions of years ago. This is why Homo erectus is often referred to as the most successful human species. Their success serves as a clear testament to their immense contributions to the evolution of humanity. Every small archaeological discovery gradually unveils the secrets of evolutionary superiority, from primates transitioning into upright humans. Step by step, even the tiniest pieces of evidence will be revealed. Now you can close your eyes and travel back in time. 5,000 years ago, we find ourselves in the era of the pharaohs, in ancient Egypt. 10,000 years ago, humans began to make significant strides in agriculture. But if we look even further, tens of thousands of years back, we arrive at the time of Homo erectus, the most successful human species, one that lasted far longer than we have today. So, what happened during this time? It all began around 6 million years ago, when the first primates stood upright on 2 legs. These upright beings included various species, or could have been variations of the same species over time. Though they stood upright, these creatures still retained most of the characteristics of monkeys, with small, underdeveloped brains. You can see this clearly through the fossil of Lucy, a child who stood just 1.1 meters tall, with a small brain, comparable to that of other primates. For millions of years, these creatures wandered through forests and deserts across Africa. But around 2 million years ago, Homo erectus emerged, bringing with it remarkable changes and extraordinary abilities never seen before in the natural world. What were these abilities, and where did they come from? The physical changes of Homo erectus are easy to identify. They had thinner arms, longer legs, and most notably, a much larger brain. The upright human marked a monumental step in evolution, transitioning from the shape of early primates to the form we recognize in modern humans. It's no coincidence that they are considered the most successful human species, surviving for millions of years before becoming extinct. So how successful was Homo erectus? The first success they achieved was in terms of physical transformation. Let me show you this right now. Let me show you this right now. We are currently at Lake Tana in the northern region, Kenya. With its vast deserts and scorching volcanoes, is a land full of mysteries. Let's meet the renowned anthropologists Richard Leakey and Meave Leakey, who, while surveying this remote region, made a truly remarkable discovery. As leading experts in the field of anthropology, they were very familiar with the common types of fossils. However, this particular specimen was unlike anything they had encountered before. One of Leakey's team members discovered a fragment of a prehistoric skull. Based on its shape and size, it was possible to deduce that it belonged to Homo erectus. Of course, this wasn't the only fossil they found. The archaeological team began expanding their search area and soon uncovered the remaining parts of the skull. Finding a complete skull is already rare, but this was just the beginning. After continued efforts, in a short amount of time, a remarkably well-preserved skeleton of Homo erectus, previously unknown, was uncovered. This was the skeletal remains of our human ancestors, dating back 2 million years. The team named the skeleton the Can Boy, with an estimated age of 1.5 million years. This discovery greatly enhanced our understanding of human evolutionary history. The process of transitioning from primates to upright humans is a crucial evolutionary step. What's truly remarkable about the fossil discovery is its completeness. Researchers found limb bones, a few tubular bones, and even rib bones. Usually, even the smallest fragment would excite the scientific community. However, this particular fossil cannot give us a definitive picture of what the individual looked like. So, what did Homo erectus really look like? This remains a big question. The skeleton reveals that the Tana boy stood at about 1.57 meters tall, with a body structure more human-like than ape-like. But just how similar was he to us? For that, we would need a specialist anthropological artist, someone capable of drawing and sculpting our ancient ancestors with high anatomical accuracy. With the complete skeleton, we now know that the Tana boy was not an ape-like creature. He was a true human, albeit a very early one. Looking at the skull of the fossil, you'll notice it closely resembles that of modern humans. Therefore, it's likely that our faces and those of Homo erectus were quite similar. However, the Tana boy's skull was rougher, had a lower forehead, and a much smaller brain, a place where heartfelt stories are shared. If you find this video inspiring and meaningful, don't forget to leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and spread it to others. Anthropologists recreated the face of the Tana boy in stunning detail, down to the muscle layers, based on modern knowledge of the human body and anatomy. Once the head was reconstructed, the mysterious face emerged for the first time in over 1.5 million years. This was the face of an upright human, Homo erectus. The reconstruction of the fossil's face marked the beginning of the story. Now, we need to determine the boy's age. By studying the growth plates on his limbs, we know that he still had room to grow, meaning he had not yet reached full maturity. The Tana boy stood at 1.57 meters tall, and when scientists compared his bones and teeth, they estimated he was between 8 and 18 years old. Reaching 1.57 meters at only 8 years old suggests that, during this phase, Homo erectus's growth pattern resembled that of chimpanzees more than modern humans. Chimpanzees mature very quickly, around 7 years old, while humans experience puberty between 12 and 14. Despite having many human-like features in terms of appearance and body structure, it's clear that the Tana boy had not yet reached full maturity. Perhaps it would take a later stage in his life. After the time of the Tana boy, Homo erectus began to experience a longer period of maturation. But why was this the case? What advantage does a longer maturation period offer, especially since young children are dependent and need care? The answer lies in the development of the brain. Humans have the largest brains among species, and when comparing body size to brain size, it's clear that our brains are so large that much of their growth must occur outside the womb. Without this external brain development, we could never pass through the birth gate of a prolonged childhood. This provides the brain with the time it needs to develop after birth, allowing us to learn everything required to function in the complex human society. This is the advantage of a prolonged childhood, at least for us. But what about Homo erectus? More specifically, what about Tana? The fossil's brain size is about 900 cubic centimeters, smaller than ours, but still twice the size of a chimpanzee's brain. This change in physical structure, particularly the brain, was part of what made Homo erectus such a successful species in nature. The changes in physical form were the foundation for the subsequent successes achieved by this species. Physical transformation also signified an evolution in intellect, evident through language, tool-making, and hunting strategies. With a brain twice the size of a chimpanzee's, scientists have often wondered, did Homo erectus have the ability to think and use language like we do? Many believe the answer is yes, and this is based on data collected from the cerebral cortex of our ancestors over many years of research. The cerebral cortex is the part of the brain that reveals its shape and functions. Researchers are particularly interested in an area called the Broca region, which is linked to memory and behavior, but also plays a crucial role in language processing. In the brain of the Tana boy, there is evidence of a distinct change in the Broca region, indicating significant development in communication abilities. The Broca region in this fossil is relatively well preserved, providing clear evidence of Homo erectus's capacity for communication and language. However, language alone is not enough to demonstrate the full extent of Homo erectus's brain development. We also have other clues about the intelligence of this species. Homo erectus was capable of crafting stone tools, sharpening both sides to create instruments that were perfect for tasks requiring sharpness. These tools were incredibly versatile, showing that upright humans not only had the ability to create, but also knew how to use natural materials to meet their needs. The stone tool represents a significant stage in evolution. As once tools were in hand, any food could be obtained more easily. This gave Homo erectus a tremendous survival advantage, although not an absolute one. Here, we can find over 500 stone axes made by Homo erectus just a few kilometers away. You can visit the quarry where, thousands of years ago, Homo erectus shaped stone into tools and left behind unusable fragments. There are thousands of discarded stone pieces from the tool-making process. The rough indentations on these pieces are the marks left by Homo erectus as they crafted their tools. Not only did they know how to use tools, but they also had the ability to think ahead and predict the outcomes of their actions. They understood that when striking one stone against another, the result would be fragments. The sharpness of the tools crafted by Homo erectus allowed them to perform various tasks, much like a skilled artisan. Thanks to these tools, Homo erectus created a survival advantage, enabling them to hunt and avoid attacks from predators. This was a significant advantage, forged by a larger and more developed brain over the course of maturation. However, the larger brain came at a hidden cost. The human brain accounts for 25% of the body's energy usage. With both a large brain and body, Homo erectus needed more food from the natural environment to meet their energy demands. When fully grown, Tanaboy could have stood at 1.8 meters tall. Even now, someone of that height would be considered strong and robust. However, such a body requires a large amount of energy to sustain. Eating more plants and fruits is an easy and less risky way to get energy, but it's not very efficient. There was a much better source of nutrition that met the needs of Homo erectus's large brain and substantial body. That source was meat and animal-based foods. These were incredibly rich in protein and played a crucial role in the evolution of humanity. The only issue with hunting for meat is that it is far more dangerous than gathering fruits. Most predators rely on speed or strength to catch their prey, while Homo erectus lacked these advantages. They weren't fast, didn't have claws, or sharp teeth like carnivores. If they continued like this, survival in the wild would not only make hunting for meat impossible, but also put them at risk of becoming prey for larger predators. This fossil of Homo erectus shows clear marks on the brow, likely from predator bites. This helps us understand that Homo erectus was not at the top of the food chain. So, how could a weak species, without natural weapons, with a large brain, manage to hunt meat? This is the fascinating question we will explore. To provide readers with new and intriguing information about the mysterious phenomena of humanity that remain unsolved, we introduce the book The Mysterious World: Untold Stories. Compiled by the CD team, this book will take you on an exciting journey, offering a completely new perspective on the world around us. Get ready to enter a wondrous world. A world of unexpected secrets is waiting for you. The link will be provided in the comments and description below. Now let's return to the main content. Homo erectus faced a major challenge: how to kill a large, dangerous animal with plenty of meat and fat without being killed in the process? I believe the answer to this question lies in intelligence and extraordinary endurance. Our upright human ancestors, such as the small primates like Lucy, stood on two legs, but they probably didn't run much. The Tanaboy, however, was born to run like us. They could run long distances like we do because they had lost the fur covering their bodies. This allowed Homo erectus to cool down by sweating easily, a key factor in their success. Even today, it's not hard to see that humans possess remarkable endurance in the natural world. Very few wild animals can run tens of kilometers without rest like we can. Modern-day events like marathons and ultramarathons have become incredibly popular, drawing tens of thousands of participants every year. The Tanaboy had almost no body hair, and this helps us understand the running capabilities of Homo erectus. Just like us, Homo erectus possessed the advantage of thermal regulation and endurance when competing against predators. Most animals are at a disadvantage under the midday sun because their bodies become overheated. They can only cool down by panting while running fast, but when they can't pant efficiently, they can only sustain high speeds for short distances. Four-legged animals can only run fast for about 10 to 15 minutes before overheating. Humans, however, can cool their bodies by sweating. The lack of fur on our bodies allows air to circulate on the skin, helping reduce body temperature through sweat evaporation. This makes us one of the best long-distance runners. Homo erectus had evolved to a relatively advanced stage. While not yet the top predator of the world, they were at the highest level of the food chain. Their ability to dissipate heat and sustain long-distance running gave them a significant edge in hunting. Homo erectus's hunting strategy is referred to as persistence hunting. Anthropological data reveals how Homo erectus carried out these hunts, and our information is drawn from indigenous people in the Hari-Kau region. They knew that prey animals would seek shelter in the shade when the heat was unbearable. This knowledge helps us understand the hunting tactics of our ancient ancestors, a place where heartfelt stories are shared. If you find this video inspiring and meaningful, don't forget to leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and spread it to others. The perfect hunting strategy for Homo erectus relied on persistence. Once they had located their prey, the marathon chase would begin. The method was incredibly simple: run the prey to exhaustion. Every time the animal tried to rest, they would resume the chase, never allowing it to cool down. This process would repeat until the animal became completely exhausted, unable to resist, and eventually died. The reason they could keep running while their prey couldn't is because Homo erectus had the ability to sweat, while other animals did not. If this theory is correct, it explains how the Tana boy was able to secure meat. Homo erectus had figured out how to sustain their large, energy-demanding brains. Today, indigenous people can still run for 4 hours under the scorching sun of the savanna, something even the healthiest gazelles can't manage. The hunting method of Homo erectus was simple but extremely effective. It not only fed their large brains, but also supported the growing complexity of their society. The superiority of Homo erectus is evident across various stages, from the shift to upright walking, changes in limb structure, to the creation of tools. These advancements were crucial in understanding the evolutionary success of upright humans. While advantages like persistence hunting and excellent heat regulation were crucial, were they enough to ensure that Homo erectus survived for millions of years and became the most successful human species? Personally, I believe those advantages alone were not enough. For Homo erectus to achieve absolute dominance and control, they had to rely on groundbreaking inventions and their unique social capabilities. The most significant development in their progress was the discovery of fire and the establishment of complex social structures. Although other species live in groups, no species has a social structure quite like humans. The social nature of Homo erectus was evident in every aspect of their lives. Since the invention of fire, their relationships, communication, and social rules began to take shape. These elements bound individuals together into a unified community. What led to such a unique social structure? It could be the result of an unprecedented innovation in our evolutionary process. The major difference was the ability to create fire and cook food. So when did Homo erectus begin doing this? We know that upright humans appeared about 2 million years ago, and the Tana boy dates back about 1.5 million years. Therefore, Homo erectus must have started creating fire sometime between these 2 points in history. The Tana boy and his community could not have survived without fire. The earliest evidence suggests that our ancestors deliberately used fire for cooking long before the time of Tana. Fire not only helped them protect themselves from wild animals in the African deserts, but it also made food softer and easier to digest. This explains why upright humans had smaller teeth and smaller chests. More importantly, fire brought individuals closer together. Homo erectus was drawn to areas with fire, where communication occurred as many individuals gathered around the fire while food was being cooked. Fire became the foundation for developing social relationships in Homo erectus's world, from cooperative hunting to having larger skulls and brains. Perhaps the Tana boy and the Homo erectus community had social skills that are familiar to us today. They were social creatures, intelligent, with an ever-increasing capacity for cooperation. This perhaps led to another significant achievement, an achievement that played a decisive role in the success of the entire Homo erectus species. The migration out of Africa began millions of years ago. Initially, they lived on vast deserts, but one day they started to move. Fossils of skulls and tools have been found in places like China and Indonesia. Why did they migrate? When did it begin? When the Tana boy was discovered, scientists thought they had found the answer. With an estimated age of around 80 years, scientists believed that Homo erectus left Africa about 1 million years ago. However, new discoveries have shown that this migration actually began much earlier. The Manish fossils are evidence of this. Scientists have proven that the first humans to leave Africa appeared long before the time of the Tana boy. It was initially thought that these migrants resembled the Tana boy in height and advanced skills. However, studies have shown the opposite. They were only 1.35 meters tall, shorter than Tana, with broader shoulders and a physique more like that of a monkey, and they used simpler stone tools. They were much more primitive, with smaller brains, and used crude stone tools. The scientific community now acknowledges that as soon as Homo erectus appeared on the African savanna, they began migrating, setting the stage for the human species to spread across continents. " 5,000 miles away from Africa, on the island of Flores in Indonesia, scientists made an astonishing discovery in 2003. They found the bones of a tiny human ancestor, standing just over 90 centimeters tall, smaller than even the Manish fossils. They named this new ancestor Homo floresiensis, dating back from 95,000 to 12,000 years ago. Due to its tiny size, it was nicknamed the Hobbit. This discovery created a huge problem because it wasn't clear what exactly they had found. The brain size of Homo floresiensis was only about 400 cubic centimeters, slightly larger than that of Lucy. Not only was this a small brain, but the face resembled that of a monkey, and its hands and feet were also primitive. Its limbs were shorter, very similar to Lucy. This was difficult to explain. In the cave where this species was found, scientists also discovered stone tools, something Lucy never had. For a long time, it was believed that making stone tools required a developed brain. However, if Homo floresiensis could craft tools with a brain the size of an orange, it clearly meant that this formula was no longer accurate. Researchers believe that Homo floresiensis may have evolved from Homo erectus. So, why were Homo floresiensis so small? The answer may lie in their isolation on an island with limited food sources. Large mammals often shrink over time when isolated, and this could explain their diminutive size. However, another question arises. How did Homo erectus manage to spread so widely across the globe? The discovery of Homo erectus fossils all over the world reveals that they were the first human species to successfully spread beyond Africa. These scientific discoveries have opened a window into a world previously unknown to us, the world of the most successful human ancestors of all time, Homo erectus. These findings give us glimpses of the origins of humanity, from our bodies and minds to our emotions. Yet, despite their success, Homo erectus did not become the ultimate victor, as we are today. So, what happened to them? Homo erectus went extinct around 110,000 years ago, and this period coincides with a very significant event, the last ice age on Earth. The last ice age was one of the most recent glaciations in Earth's history, occurring during the final stages of the Pleistocene epoch. From around 110,000 years ago to around 10,000 years ago, Earth's climate continued to experience an extended period of cold. Temperatures remained low, though not as severe as previous ice ages, but ice sheets had advanced down to near the equator. During this time, there were many fluctuations in the development and retreat of glaciers, with the maximum expansion of the last ice age occurring around 18,000 years ago. While the cooling and freezing factors were fairly uniform across the globe, there were regional differences that made it difficult to compare details between continents. From an evolutionary perspective, this period corresponds to the Paleolithic and Mesolithic eras. During the Ice Age, plant life was scarce, and many animal species, such as mammoths, saber-toothed tigers, and many strong mammalian species, thrived in the harsh conditions. Humans had also emerged and began using tools for hunting, which allowed them to adapt to the extreme environment of the Ice Age. When the last Ice Age ended, many animal species went extinct. Recent studies show that the only reason Homo erectus went extinct during this period was because they were too lazy. Despite Homo erectus surviving for over 1 million years and being the first species to widely spread across Earth, their survival traits ultimately led to their extinction, even though they had been incredibly successful throughout their evolutionary journey. In an excavation at the Arabian Peninsula, scientists discovered that Homo erectus was quite intelligent, but had poor adaptability, especially when it came to climate change. A prime example of their lack of initiative is their choice of weaponry. While Homo erectus did know how to use weapons, they did not improve them over time. In contrast, more advanced human species constantly focused on the quality and effectiveness of their weapons. This habit of innovation helped them survive on the planet for much longer, including modern humans. However, when the climate turned colder, Homo erectus struggled to adapt. They were quite passive in response to environmental changes. Fossil records show that the surroundings changed dramatically, yet Homo erectus continued to hunt in the same way without modifying their approach. One crucial detail that you might remember is that Homo erectus lost their body hair. While lacking hair in hot environments was an advantage for hunting, when the climate shifted, this became a fatal weakness they could not overcome. And thus, despite their success for a long period, their inability to adapt to climate change ultimately led to their extinction. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to leave a comment, hit the like button, share with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Thank you so much. Homo erectus was the longest surviving species in history, making significant evolutionary leaps and spreading widely across most continents. But is it correct to call them the most successful humans? In the current context, I believe the true success story belongs to us, Homo sapiens. We went through the same harsh climate changes as Homo erectus and many other species, yet we are the ones who emerged victorious in the end. So why didn't Homo sapiens become extinct like the others? One of the key reasons is that we have a much larger social network. Our network spans a much broader range, and although Homo erectus spread across many parts of the world, they rarely established networks of communities like Homo sapiens did. A large network acts as a safeguard for survival. If you have relationships with people far away during environmental crises such as food or water shortages, you can share resources with them. They are not enemies, they are relatives. Thanks to this social resilience, Homo sapiens was able to survive climate changes that wiped out Homo erectus and many other species. Individuals or species that were less adaptable, like Homo erectus, faced significant challenges in adapting to climate changes. A 2022 study found that not only Homo erectus but also species like Homo tanna lost a significant portion of their population due to climate issues before becoming extinct. However, this is where the story doesn't end, as Homo sapiens possessed several advantages that set them apart from other relatives. Thanks to the adaptability of their brains, our ancestors tackled the harsh climate of the Ice Age by inventing techniques such as weaving and sewing. With weaving, you could make baskets or nets, and with sewing, you could create more clothing. This also enabled them to make better insulated tents to keep newborns warm. The large social network of Homo sapiens helped spread these techniques quickly and widely. While the extinction of various species remains a debated issue, it is clear that some species had better survival capabilities than others, and Homo sapiens is the only group that survived. This reminds us that the journey to the top of the world was not an easy one. Do you think Homo erectus was more successful than us? Who is the most successful species is not really as important as many people think. In fact, understanding Homo erectus offers us much more valuable lessons. The world will always change, and in a short time, everything can be different in ways we can't predict. Today's humans, thanks to the remarkable adaptability of our ancestors, have the opportunity to use those same abilities to avoid the unfortunate fate that Homo erectus faced. Therefore, our task is to harness this adaptability and ensure that we don't miss the chance to evolve and adapt to future changes. If you found today's video useful, please share it with more people. We hope that has brought you an enjoyable evening. Goodbye, and see you in the next videos. Wishing everyone a peaceful day.